I knew that I didn't want to die without at least having tried. Everybody looks for this feeling of belonging, having others around.
Another project of mine to see if that feels any different.
These days, there are so many opportunities, and I think people just don't know about it.
Meet Ben, a person who set out to create a co-working space, but ended up creating something far more meaningful. Originally from Austria, he traded the Austrian Alps for the sunny coast of southern Spain, where he built a new life in Málaga. At the age of 27, he left his corporate job to build something of his own. Now, 11 years later, I wanted to know one thing. How does he feel about his life today?
Good question. Inspired, I would say. There's so many things going on, but at the same time, it's all stuff that I enjoy doing. So I never really get bored. I never sit there and think I'm actually working, looking at like, what time is it? Can I stop now? Before I started the living room co-working in Malaga, I worked at, you could say, boring corporate job. It was actually an exciting time. The learning curve at the beginning was kind of like super steep, right? And I will always appreciate what I learned back then. Helped me a lot then later also to establish a business of my own. Corporate can be exciting, it can be fun, especially if you haven't worked before. I mean, then it's crazy, right? And it's like, wow, okay, this is the real world. Then when you leave corporate and start your own company, then you say, no, this is the real world. Totally enjoyed it as well, yes. But it's nothing that I would anymore want to do now after I had the experience of running my own company for the freedom that we've mentioned.
At first, before starting the co-working, Ben went freelance. But soon he noticed something important.
Already in the first week of working from home, I realized how valuable it was to have an office. I started asking people, because always when I struggle with something, I share it. And that usually helps me to then get feedback, get ideas from others. And actually one ex-Oracle colleague of mine told me, listen, I know this startup called Plitix. And from what I know, they have like a bigger-ish office, but they don't use all of it and they rent out desks to other people. I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. Let's check that out. Turned out there was one single desk left. So like, I'll take it, that's mine. I joined Plitix in their shared office in April 2015. And in the summer of that very same year, so just like 3-4 months after I've joined them, they got their first investment into their company. And with that money, they said, hey, now we're gonna move into a villa in El Palo and we're gonna have our startup villa there, Great for us, not so great for you guys who are sharing office with us, right? Because, well, we're gonna move out from here and we can't take you with us. At that point in time, I thought like, okay, this is not cool. And I told them, guys, listen, like this space where we are is ideal to be shared, right? I just saw something in this space. And I told that to the guys and said like, don't let this go. This is amazing. This is an amazing shared office. I decided to set up the living room co-working SL as a limited in Spain. And we kept the current local, switched the contract onto the company's name and kept going. At the beginning, it was hard, but also at the same time, it was just, hey, as long as we can pay the bills, I don't care. I didn't consider it being a business. And then something interesting happened. People started coming to us and asking, hey, can I check out this space? It's like a co-working, right? I said like, yeah, it is. How do you know? How on earth did you find us? And it turned out that people just spoke about us. they would recommend us. They would say, hey, I work in this inspiring space and I have colleagues and it's fun and we celebrate birthdays and we have cakes and we have lunches together and we go play beach volleyball and we do this, we do that, you know. That started to become a thing. We didn't have a website, we had a crappy Facebook page we didn't take care of. People started knocking on our doors. Over time, I then started thinking, hey, look, like maybe we're onto something here. Not seeing it really as a business model and doing it for the sake of making money, that was never the intention. Business was never the intention. But eventually it turned out that people are looking for community. It's not just me, everybody looks for this feeling of belonging, having others around, being able to cry on somebody's shoulder, especially when you work as a freelancer, as an entrepreneur. It was my initial motivation, and it's the motivation of 90% of the people that come into the space nowadays. When people ask me kind of like about corporate and going back, I always say I would never ever go back to corporate unless money forces me to. But voluntarily going back to corporate, definitely not. And even if it's hard times, even there's a few months you're not making what you're usually making, well, just, you know, find the next hole in your belt, become a little bit more humble as well. Cutting down sometimes on certain things, letting go of things is a good exercise to do, generally speaking. On a Tuesday evening, you look at the forecast for Sierra Nevada for the next day and you say, it's Wednesday tomorrow, I go skiing. Just having the freedom of doing whatever you feel like doing, whether it's skiing midweek, whether it's go surfing on a Friday because you live close to the beach and there is amazing waves. That freedom of being able to move, taking time off, doing things you enjoy apart from work is what makes it so valuable to me, and is what keeps me far, far, far away from corporate or any employment for that sake, where you're obliged to be and go somewhere within a certain schedule because you've signed a contract to do so. What I do miss, and what is of course sometimes intense, but then again said like it keeps you on your toes, is the safety. Right? If you have an employment, you have a fixed contract, you have fixed working hours, you know at the end of the month you will be paid. That security is something that especially when it's not going well and it's not going well continuously, and it's like, man, fuck, what am I doing here? You know, whilst everybody is just out and like go out for dinners and spending money for food, not getting it from the supermarket, cooking at home, you know, and you think like, oh, I'm just like on a budget right now and I stay at home cooking my own stuff because I haven't made any money in the last 3 months, the business is not going well and whatnot, right? So that's the downside. Can happen.
Before we finished talking, there was one question I couldn't stop thinking about. If living on your own can make you so much happier, why don't more people at least try to follow what truly calls them?
I think it's fear. Fear of not being able to make it outside the system. I think we're so driven into a certain way of how life has to be. At what age you gotta get married, at what age you gotta have children, at what age you gotta do this, you gotta do that, right? Parents telling you, when I was your age, I already... And something that you have been told from a very small age is hard to forget, hard to unlearn. And taking this leap of faith into entrepreneurship is scary. It's unlearning or forgetting or rejecting pretty much everything everybody ever told you. I do understand people that have children, that have responsibilities of really paying for stuff, that might have a mortgage on their house and so on and so forth, right? But don't forget, it's your life. You're going to work at least 8 hours a day if you work full time. You sleep another 8 hours a day, more or less. That only leaves 8 hours every day that you can actually enjoy and do what you like doing. Maybe you're commuting, so it's even less than that. Life is too short to be stuck in a job that you hate. if you're dragging yourself to work every day, if you're working just to get to retirement, who knows whether you're gonna get there? Who knows how you're gonna get there? Who knows what sort of pension we will still be getting? Who knows how you're gonna be getting there, in what condition? Like, you know you wanna travel, you know you wanna get out, you know you wanna try surfing, you know you wanna try living the van life. If you know it, do it now. Don't wait until you retire. These days, there are so many opportunities, and I think people just don't know about it. That there's always a way to find a more exciting job. If you hate your workplace, if you hate your boss, if you hate your team, if you feel underappreciated, how will that make you feel yourself? So yes, even though it's hard and you might not have a lot of money and you have to take care of children and you have to pay a mortgage, at least consider the option that there might be something else for you. Nothing has to be immediate. No transition happens overnight. Become creative and break out of this prison that conditions you to lead a life where you're looking forward to retirement at probably 70 with very little pay, a broken body, and no life left to enjoy.